Every gym owner knows referrals are gold. The problem is most don't have a system that makes them happen predictably. Today, we're gonna cover a bulletproof referral engine called Free Cash Fridays that's led to hundreds of new contracts for our gym owner clients. And the best part is that you can start doing it this week in your gym. Now, stick around to the end because after I show you the play itself, I'll reveal how to crank referrals into overdrive with something we call Multiplier Months. All right, so to be clear, any gym can use this play, but it's most effective with established gyms, the ones that already have members who love you. I say this because rolling this out for as many gym owners as we have, we've seen this absolutely smash for some, and every once in a while, it bombs, right? So someone tries to roll it out and they don't get the referrals they're looking for. Now, why is that? Well, what we find is when we look into it, every single time it's either a gym that really doesn't have any members at all, or the members they have, there's like no community. There's just no actual good, solid reputation. So as long as you've got a few members that love you, you're gonna absolutely smash this. All right, so let's get into this legendary referral system called Free Cash Fridays. Here's how I'm gonna break it down for you. First, what Free Cash Fridays is and why it works. Second, the exact 5-step system to install it within your gym this week. Next, I'm gonna go over how to decide exactly how much to pay out to your members. This is a really important point. And then finally, how to use multiplier months to put jet fuel on this play. All right, let's rock. So, what it is and why it works. Free Cash Fridays is a weekly ritual where you go live in your gym's private Facebook group or another community platform that you might use. You shout out live what members referred someone into your gym that week. And when I say a referral, that's somebody that actually came in, did a session or an intake or something like that, but actually signed a full contract. So I just wanna make that clear. Everything we're talking about today in terms of referrals is somebody that didn't just come in, they came in and signed a new agreement. So this is a weekly ritual where you're gonna shout out everyone that referred. You're gonna also shout out and welcome the new person that was referred in. You're gonna flash some cash on the screen and also use that airtime, that FaceTime, to highlight kind of any other important news within the gym itself. Now, I'll go into the step-by-step agenda in a minute, but there's several reasons this works really well. First, consistency builds culture. Doing this every single week, right, all the time, means referring will become expected, known, almost like habitual with your members. And second, having kind of a weekly broadcast, some kind of end of the week news keeps momentum going in your gym. This is actually huge. So it gives you a chance to highlight everything that's happening on your event board, reminding everyone why your gym is fun and the place to be. By the way, this is the foundation to making sure people are primed to refer. It's all about feeling like they're part of a cool, fun club they want their friends to be in on, right? It brings them status when they can make their friends, their family's life even cooler and more exciting. No one's ever gonna refer if the gym is boring, it's kind of lame. You need to be worth talking about. So just remember, your gym always has to have something going on. So this means that your event calendar has to be slammed with fun stuff. More on that in another video. Okay, so let's get into the exact steps on installing Free Cash Friday so you can start having your current members promote your gym for you. Step number 1 is gonna be pick your day and your time. So obviously Friday would be a good place to start, but also if you're gonna pick a time, try and do it the exact same time every single week. So maybe 10 a.m., 11 a.m., whatever you pick, stick with it. So the ritual itself will create trust, which will then create anticipation within your members looking forward to seeing your next 11 a.m. Friday video. And then eventually the anticipation will lead to engagement and long-term compliance. So whatever you're asking for within the video and the content itself, you'll see more and more people doing. Step 2 is prep the script and know your plan. So you wanna spend 10, 15 minutes pulling a list together of any members who referred into the gym that week. Now, in addition to that, you wanna have the names on hand of anyone that they actually did refer in. So not just shouting out the members, but also your new members as well. Also on the agenda that day, you wanna announce any winners of anything else going on in the gym. So for instance, earlier I talked about always having things happening. If you have any raffles or any contests running, this is where to highlight the status of those winners as well. For example, in our gym launch community, we teach our gym owners to always be running theme weeks, raffles, social media contests, and challenges to keep their gyms fun and engaging, in addition to whatever's kind of going on within the programming or within the classes that week, right? On this live video, what you also want to do is shout out any big wins, any PRs you want to call out, anything that's just worth reporting, even like community partnerships, working with other businesses. And then finally, at the end, you want to recap this week's winners again and announce and show how much money they just won. So like having cash in hand or a money gun is always a good go-to for this kind of thing. All right, step 3, go live, right? 5-10 minutes, you can go a little longer if you got some engagement kind of going on. You know, I just ran through the what to do, so I'm not gonna script it out for you, but just a couple things to remember when going live. Number 1, you wanna wait for some people to join, so you don't wanna like go live and just immediately start talking and then leave and no one logged on at all. You know, hang out for a little bit, kind of engage and talk to the audience. Now, most importantly, this is really, really important and important for anybody that does any kind of content, is that you've gotta be yourself. When it comes to content, whether it's YouTube, whether it's lives, whether it's ads, whether it's whatever, you've just got to be you. Because when it comes to content, if you try and be someone else, it'll be felt as like not authentic, right? It's not going to be enjoyable. And then at the end of the day, you're just going to stop doing it. So you want to put your own flair on it as you do it. So you can take this framework, but really still make it your own. You got to remember this, the content you'll keep doing is the content that you enjoy. All right, final step. So you did your video, you rocked it out. The last one, step number 4, is actually send the reward, send the cash, and you wanna do this immediately. So this is really important. Speed matters because the faster someone's rewarded for a certain behavior, it increases the likelihood that that person's gonna repeat that behavior. So you don't wanna wait super long from recognition to actually giving that money out. And one more thing on this, the moment you find out someone refers, this is like earlier during that week, you should actually call them, text them right away and thank them. All right, so don't wait until Free Cash Fridays to be the first time that somebody is actually notified that you know they referred, because speed matters, like I said. So reach out right away and thank them and make that known. You can give them a shout out, you know, that night in a session or something like that. Any way to highlight them and give them status, the better. Whether it's a board in the lobby or in-class announcements or some kind of post on social, whatever it is, the sooner you can recognize them, the more likely they will be to do it again. All right, just remember this, give status, and status is the most powerful form of motivation. And then the final step here is just update whatever kind of tracker you have. So whether you have a referral tracker, keep it nice and simple, right? It's definitely important to know who your super referrers are, because those are also the people that are great to kind of beta test or roll out new programs or new initiatives, be the champions for kind of the new things in your gym as well. All right, finally, step 5 is post the recap itself. So that live's gonna get saved, so you can go in and kind of edit the text with it, or you can do another one right after that. Either way, whatever platform you're on, you wanna drop a recap in that group or wherever you went live so everybody sees it, right? So you wanna say congrats to the winner, you know, tag their name. Hey, John Jones earned $100 for, you know, 2 referrals. He referred in Julie Jones and Steve Smith. And then what you wanna do is tag who he referred in, Julie Jones and Steve Smith, right inside of that post, right? And then if you have anything else going on in the gym, you wanna then, boom, put that right underneath that, right? So it's like, oh, and Allie Hill won the selfie challenge raffle, right? And boom, you then tag Allie. And then boom, what else? Next week, reminder, we have double cash referrals. It's a multiplier month and you wanna call that out. You might be like, what's a multiplier month, Mike? Don't worry, I will explain that in a minute. And then finally, the last part of this is you wanna remind people how to refer, because remember this is basically a promotion and advertisement of how to refer every single week. So you're both reinforcing and thanking everybody that did refer, while also highlighting how you can be a winner next week. So you wanna say, hey, wanna win some cash next week? Here's how to do it, post a link, boom. And this just repeats every single 7 days. Okay, so you know the play, pretty simple, weekly live video. A key piece to this though is how much you pay, right? This is critical. You pay too little, no one cares at all. You pay too much, you lose margin and you make like no profit, right? So after coaching hundreds of gyms to do this, here's what we've found at Gym Launch to work really well, including exactly how I've done it in my gym as well. So first, take your CAC, which is cost to acquire a customer, and what you wanna do is pay out 25 to 50% of that number. So for example, if you spend $2,000 on ads every month, and at the end of the month, you get 10 new customers, and that's from all sources. It's just total spend divided by total new customers. That means your CAC is $200. So So if CAC is $200 and we want to pay out 25% of CAC for our free cash Fridays, then what we're going to do is we're going to pay $50 for every single person that refers in. So if you refer somebody in, they sign a contract, you now get $50. Now, let's talk about why this works. First off, cash is king. In all the different types of promotions we've ever run through the thousands of gyms that we've coached, the most successful promotions are always the ones where we give cash away, right? At the end of the day, everybody's motivated by cash. It's just how much differs from human to human, and that's why we have multiplier months. Also, one of the reasons this strategy is so powerful is that with this formula, you actually save money. It's cheaper than buying the leads and the new members through ads. So even though you're paying money out, you're actually driving CAC down through this strategy. Plus, by paying out less than normal CAC, it sets you up perfectly for multiplier months to really move the needle. So let's talk multiplier months. This is the real jet fuel. Once free cash Fridays are like humming, and I mean you're in a routine, you're getting some referrals from them, this is something you've been doing for a while, what you wanna do is run a multiplier month. So the way a multiplier month works is for 30 days, you double or even triple the payout. So if CAC is normally $200 and you usually pay out $50 for free cash Fridays, you can run a 2x multiplier month and pay out $100 for every single referral that month. That usually gets people excited, people that otherwise would not be listening to your free cash Fridays, to kind of like perk up and start to refer. Or you could even get wild and do a 3x and pay $150. Now you can't do these all the time or they lose their effectiveness, right? And they of course obviously would eat into your margins, but once a quarter or something like that, you should definitely run one, right? And like I said, this cash bump gets some members who've never referred before to finally drag in their friends. It creates some urgency and turns your gym into just a referral machine that month. All right, so now we covered the entire strategy, and I know it's stupid simple, right? But that's why it works. More than just giving away cash though, I wanna call out the most important component to making this entire thing work. It's one word: consistency. This will only work if you do it every single week. So the thing is, the consistency compounds. And if you have a week with no referrals, you have to still go live and talk about other things going on. Make sure you interact with your viewers, do some other kind of engaging things going on in the gym that week, and just overall keep the momentum going. So long as you stick with this and you have a decent product and you don't have members that absolutely hate you, the referrals will come. And really the best part about this is that the members who come in through referrals are actually more likely to then refer themselves. So once you get this going, it's a bit of a flywheel effect, right? At first, it's like a big lift to start it, but eventually more and more of your member base will look at referring as just a normal thing to do. Now, one last thing before we wrap up. I got some advice once that really helped me in growing my business. It was no half measures. Meaning, if you're gonna do something, you're gonna promote something, you need to go all in. This means you have to triple down on getting the word out about how referrals work and how people should refer within your gym. This is announcements all the time on exactly how to refer, shouting out who refers and making them rock stars within the gym, posters on the walls, instructions, payouts, QR codes, flyers in the bathroom, over the urinals, in the stalls, anywhere and everywhere people's eyes are. Bottom line is you gotta figure out a way to make sure that every member knows that this program exists, that you pay for referrals. Now you still have to do it in a way where you don't look desperate, right? So you can rotate your promotions, announcements, and what you highlight, but do not be afraid to promote within your gym. Just remember this: if you have a great product, a great gym, your members will bring you more members. You just have to make it super easy for them to do it and reward them when they do. All right, guys, if you like content like this, go ahead, hit like and subscribe, and of course, send it to any other gym owner you know that might benefit from this play. You can also hit that notification button so that you know exactly when we drop our next training, which will be right here. I'll keep dropping more like this. I'll see you guys on the next one.